Okay, let's try to find some more good stuff. Oh, sweet diamonds! Haha! Make sure to get all of them. Ah, this is a great day. Ah, coal too. Awesome. Mother. Hello everybody, welcome back to ACR. And for new viewers, ACR stands for Action Comedy Review. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing a movie from 1993, Robin Hood Men in Tights. It stars Cary Elwes as Hood, or Robin Hood, and the director was Mel Brooks. The movie made $35.7 million in the box office and had a budget of $20 million. But anyway, let's get into this review. The movie starts out with a bunch of soldiers shooting flaming arrows, and it shows the names of the key actors and some of the people behind the main stuff around the movie. Then after that business, they shoot a home and it sets on fire. They start shooting more houses, and the villagers are all freaking out, and they even have firefighters, so that's fun. Then this guy says this.
There must be another way of doing the credits.
That's right! Every time they make a Robin Hood movie, they burn our village down.
And then they all say this.
Leave us alone, Mel Brooks!
Oh, me and Mel, we go way back. Oh,
Thank you, Pablo? Then it goes to some men rapping about how Robin Hood's in prison. And right after that, it goes to Robin Hood getting shown to the dungeon. And the man showing him to the dungeon says he needs the proper attire and gives him a fake beard. And then the man says if he needs anything, just scream, and then somebody screams, then he says, "Oh, off I go." Then Hood is questioned by one of the guards and is asked who his king is.
King? King? And which king might that be? King Richard? King Louis? King Kong? Larry King?
Rest in peace. The man interrogating him asks for the tongue looseners, and he pulls on his tongue and stretches it out, and it really reminded me of Kung Pao. Dear God, please don't bring that thing up again, I still have nightmares. And then this happens.
What did he say? You don't want to know.
Hood is taken to where he'll be chained up, and sitting next to a man called a Sneeze. He tells Hood that he can ask him any questions about this place if he could be any help for it. Hood then asks why he's in here, and he responds with this.
Jaywalking?
Hood then says it's gonna be hard to get out of here, and a Sneeze says follow what he does and on the count of kick. But the guard almost catches them. They trick the guard into thinking that Hood's ready to break and tell him what they want to know. And as soon as the guard is gone, they break out and free the others. They all work together to break open the gate, and they escape before the guard can come back. And then cuts to a beach where a Sneeze and Hood are. As they're about to part ways, Hood finally introduces himself to a Sneeze, and a Sneeze does the same and tells him of his son, a Chew.
I am called Robin of Locksley.
My name is a Sneeze, father of a Chew.
Bless you.
A Chew apparently lives in England, and a Sneeze wants Hood to look after him, make sure he's okay when he goes back. Hood agrees, and he runs into the ocean and swims all the way from Africa to England, and there's a huge sign, kind of like Hollywood, that says England. So that's something there.
bye.
Unusual child.
Robin gets a rent-a-wreck, which is a horse, and then finds a Chew getting beat up by soldiers. Robin then helps him out. They continue to fight after a Chew pumps up his shoes. And then they both strike mantis poses, and then they continue to kick the soldiers' butts. Soldiers hop on their horses and they book it out of there. Then one of them says, "You haven't seen The Last of Us." Then Hood shoots him with 6 arrows. Then Hood is heading back to his home, Locksley Hall, and it turns out it's getting taken away. After it gets taken away, Hood looks over and he sees Blinken, their blind servant, and they're really happy to see each other. Well, I say see lightly. Blinken thinks a statue with no arms is Hood, and Hood says he's over here and that Locksley Halls has been taken. Blinken then tells Hood that his parents and family died along with his pets while he was gone. They hug and Blinken gives Hood a necklace that his father wanted to give him before he died, and inside of it has the key to the greatest treasure in the land.
The treasure is...
Kermit, don't spoil it! As the Chew is getting introduced to Blinken, a kid runs over screaming, and it turns out he was being chased by the Sheriff of Rottingham. The sheriff then tells Hood that the kid was trying to poach the king's deer, which is apparently an offense, but Robin says that it isn't, but turns out it is. It's weird. You'll understand later. Then Hood humiliates the sheriff and roasts him. The boy thanks him after the sheriff and his posse leave, and Robin tells the kid to tell everyone of the village that he's gonna restore peace. It then goes to Marianne, and she's singing in the bathtub about her true love, and then this happens. Marianne then wishes from a bluebird that she'll find her true love and that they'll have the key to open her, heart. The sheriff then meets up with Prince John to tell him the bad news about Robin Hood. But he has to do it in a good way because John was having a good day and he doesn't want it to be ruined. John then starts to freak out, and then he thinks of Latrine, who tells him about Robin and makes him some food. Latrine then tells him of a potion that will make Robin suck at everything, but there's a catch. John needs to put in a good word for her with the sheriff because she's got the hots for him. John accidentally insults her, then makes up for it by telling her a plan to make him very, very drunk.
I'm drowning! Oh God, I'm drowning! What the... Oh.
It then goes back to Hood, and he's wandering through the forest on the horse with the others. Then he meets Little John and Will Scarlet, and they want them to pay a toll. Hood decides he'll fight instead because he doesn't want to pay the toll. They fight with batons, and they keep getting smaller because they keep breaking in half, and it goes to the point where Robin just decides to hit Little John on the head and knock him off the bridge. But then he has to save Little John from drowning. Little John thanks Hood and tells him about Prince John, who made him ask for the toll in the first place. Will and Little John want to join in on his plan, but Hood says that he's gonna do it alone, and then he tries to hop on his horse.
Man, white men can't jump.
Then goes to a party that Prince John's having, and Robin Hood shows up with a wild boar that he killed as a party gift. The sheriff freaks out because Robin Hood's hitting on Marianne, and Hood proceeds to roast the king and tells him that if he doesn't stop abusing his power while the king's on a crusade, he's gonna get the villagers to revolt against him. He also makes fun of Robin Hood's before him and that he's the only one who can do a British accent. Bam! Roasted!
Please, for the love of God, shut up, you're not cool.
The sheriff then hits Robin Hood with a glove. Then Robin grabs a knight's glove and hits him with it. The sheriff makes his men fight Robin because he's already gotten his butt kicked by Robin before. As Robin Hood's fighting, he cuts down a chandelier and it falls on him, and then the others show up and they help him fight the enemies. The others show off what they can do, and the sheriff orders the hall to be closed, and then a bunch of knights start flooding in the room. But then Robin swings from a rope and knocks them all down like dominoes, and then him and his men escape.
Who's fighting? Oh, I changed my mind.
Little John sent word to the villagers about the plan that Robin has. Robin tries to get their attention and they all throw their ears at him because he said, "Lend me your ears." Robin tries to pep them all up, but they all fall asleep. A Chew tries, and he actually succeeds in waking them up and getting them ready for Hood to speak. Robin gets them to agree and continues his speech. The next day, they all get Robin Hood attire, and they attempt to shoot some arrows, but they all fail. They try some jousting as well, but they suck at that too. And right before it goes back to the castle, it seems like Robin has a plan. The sheriff interrupts Prince John's hot tub session, and he tells him that Hood struck again, and that he needs to show him something. Then he also asks him this.
Wasn't your mole on the other side?
I have a mole?
The sheriff shows John the stealth catapult they've been working on for months. John accidentally fires the sheriff out of the catapult, and it cuts to Latrine praying for her love to notice her. And then the sheriff comes through the ceiling onto her bed, and she tries to do him. It then cuts to a rabbi going through the forest, and Robin Hood and his merry men stop him because he's entering their territory now. The rabbi's name is Rabbi Tuckman, and he tells Hood that Marianne and him will make a good couple. He also informs them that he's a professional circumciser, and he tells them what that is, and they all immediately become uninterested, and he shows them a demonstration.
I take my little machine. I take your little thing. See? I put it into this little hole here, and nip the tip.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, no dip, Sherlock.
Hood asks Tuckman if he wants to join and share some knowledge and wine with them, and the rabbi agrees. It then cuts to the sheriff talking to Don Giovanni about how to whack Hood. The Don has a better idea of putting on an archery tournament and killing him at the end of it. So this scene was amazing. It's my absolute favorite, and I really recommend you go watch this movie and this scene yourself. You'll get a kick out of it. Turns out Marianne was listening the whole time, and she goes out to tell Robin about it. Hood then sees Blinken looking around and asks him what he's doing. Blinken responds and says that he thought somebody was coming. Hood tells him to get down, and then Blinken tries to get down, but he falls because the ladder fell, and then this happens.
I can see! No, I was wrong.
Little John and Will come out of the outhouses, and then they start singing about being in tights with all the other merry men. Marianne arrives at the camp and tells Robin that she doesn't want him joining the archery tournament because of the plan that the Don and Sheriff have. But Robin Hood wasn't listening, and then he sings to her while the others watch through a cloth. Through that little singing number, they notice they've been watched the whole time, and they go off to get some privacy, but in a failed attempt to get a kiss, Marianne has to leave.
Walk this way.
They're now at the tournament, and Robin and his merry men are all in disguises. Prince John asks if they're prepared for the murder, and then the sheriff signals the sniper in the tower. The archers all fire at the target, but only 2 get to stay because they hit the bullseye, and then the sheriff points out that the old man in the cloak is Robin Hood, and Prince John thinks that it's Mark Twain. Robin goes first, and he shoots the bullseye perfectly, and then the sheriff calls out Robin, and Robin takes off his disguise. Prince John is mad at the plan being pretty much ruined, but Luca still has a chance. Luca fires his arrow, and it splits Robin's in 2, and then everybody cheers. But then Robin's really confused and double-checks the script. See if he has another chance, and he finds it. But then Prince John and the sheriff double check again to see if he's correct, and he is. The sheriff then signals the sniper right before Robin's about to shoot his arrow to kill him, but then Blinken catches it. Wait a second. As Robin's about to fire his arrow, a Chew points out that it's named the Patriot Arrow, and then Luca tries sabotaging him by kicking his leg, which makes him misfire, and then it flies around the place, and it ultimately flies through the back of the target. The sheriff gets really mad and calls for Robin to be arrested and hung. Marianne then interrupts and says that she'll marry the sheriff in order for Robin to stay alive. The sheriff then laughs at Robin, saying that his life isn't worth it, then tells Robin to walk this way. And then they do a funny walk away, and the soldiers behind them continue the walk as well. The others don't know what to do besides tell the other villagers to help out, but they need to fox them first. Foxing's basically sending a fox to them with a letter attached, and in this case it's a 12th century fox.
Go, get out, leave, that sucked.
Okay. The scene starts out with Robin getting his neck measured for the hanging. The sheriff's walking through the aisle with the abbot. Marianne walks with Prince John, and he turns around and closes the gate like a garage door. The abbot reveals that the sheriff's name is Mervyn, and everybody laughs at his name, and he gets really upset. As Marianne's about to say "I do," the merry men come in, and a Chew shoots the noose around Robin's neck, and it gets cut down, and he's saved. Then Marianne refuses the marriage. Villagers come in and they start a fight with the soldiers, and Robin gives his noose to the hangman. Merry men come over to Robin, and they're about to get attacked by soldiers, but then Robin makes a callback to the beginning of the movie, and he says, on the count of jump, and then they jump up. The soldiers miss them, and then they get stuck in the ground. Also, this happens.
Shut up, you already made that joke, you moron!
The sheriff takes Marianne into the castle while everyone's duking it out. He tries to do her, but she's wearing a chastity belt. As the sheriff's trying to take it off, Robin Hood comes in to save the day. The sheriff sucks at sword fighting, and they do shadow hand puppets in the middle of the battle. Robin almost strikes the sheriff down, but he accidentally stabs one of the crew members' bagels. Robin's still besting the sheriff, and the sheriff tries to stab him with a dagger that he had, but he ends up cutting the necklace Robin got from Blinken at the beginning of the movie, and it shatters, and it turns out to be the key to the chastity belt. The sheriff tries to get Robin after that big reveal, but then Robin just punches him in the face. As Robin thinks he's won, he thanks his sword, and he puts it to his side and accidentally stabs the sheriff straight through the chest as the sheriff was trying to sneak attack him. Latrine comes in and she's upset that the sheriff is dying, so she gives him a magic pill, and she only gives it to him if he promises to marry her. This is one of those instant regret moments because she drags him away.
Wait, I have an idea. Call a locksmith!
Call a locksmith!
As Robin and Marianne are about to do it, they get interrupted and they have to get married. Robin then calls for the rabbi to hurry up and marry them. As the rabbi's about to marry the two, King Richard comes in and objects. And then he tells John that he shouldn't be able to wear the crown, but then John tries to weasel his way out, but the merry men call BS while coughing. And then Richard says, from this day forth, all toilets in the kingdom will be known as John's. And John will be sent to the Tower of London to be part of the tour. Richard then commends Robin for all of his good deeds, and gives him all of his land back, along with all of Sherwood. And then he dubs him Sir Robin of Locksley. Also, he only objected to the marriage because he wanted a kiss from the bride before the marriage happened. Rabbi finally marries the two, and Robin makes a new sheriff, a Chew. Robin and Marianne go off on a horse, and the end, while the credits start rolling, and the guys from the beginning of the movie that sang the song about Robin getting thrown into prison are back. And during the credits, Robin and Marianne are trying to do it, but the chastity belt's key apparently doesn't work. So then Robin has the idea of using a locksmith to get it open. And they all call for locksmiths, and now that's the actual end of the movie.
I was gonna say something about that.
Let's see. I give Robin Hood Men in Tights 10 Mervyns out of 10. This was a great movie. I absolutely loved it. I really, 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 really do recommend you watch this movie. It's It's here, it's free on YouTube. And if you want to watch it, I recommend you go watch it right now, because it is a wonderful experience. Jokes are great, the characters are great, everything's great, the story, the location, just, it's perfect. 10 out of 10. Really can't say it enough. Anyway, tell me what you think about the movie in the comment section below, because those are just my opinions. Let me know if you share the same opinion, or if you don't, I don't know, just don't comment. Or you can comment. While you're down there, maybe like the video. After doing all that stuff, maybe you can hit the subscribe button and ring that little notification bell to get notifications from my channel straight to your feed. But anyway, tune in next time for my review on The Naked Gun from the Files of the Police Squad. Anyway, see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.